Meet the Woodland Folk by Tony Wolfe.
The Blackbird's Wedding. Clink, clink, clonk, clonk. The woodland folk wake from sleep, blink their eyes, raise their heads, and listen. Clink, clonk, clink, clink. What is going on? Who is making that noise? A wakey-wakey call like this had never been heard in the wood. Not to worry, says Crow. I'll go and have a look. He flies off the nest and flaps about till he hears the sound is coming from a clump of bamboo. So he perches on a branch and peers down. A craw-craw, I say and repeat crawl. It's Hare that's making the din. A look here, Hare, he says, dropping to the ground. What are you doing? Can't you see, says Hare. I'm playing this. And he bangs a couple of little wooden hammers on bottles in front of him. Crow hops over with a look of surprise. What's all this? I haven't got a real organ, so the mice help me collect these bottles. I put water into them, more in some and less than others, so that every bottle makes a special sound. Listen, isn't it beautiful? Clink clonk, clonk 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 clonk. It's a wedding march. I wrote it myself. It's called Lots of Happiness and a Long Life to the Bridal Couple. Splendid, but why a wedding march? What? Don't you know that Blackbird gets married today? Ah, here they come. Make way! Of course, everyone has remembered that it's the Blackbird's wedding day. All the woodland folk are dressed in their best clothes, and they line the path as the bridal procession arrives. Black Rat is the master of ceremonies. The groom is wearing black, and the bride has a beautiful, delicate train that the bumblebees are holding off the ground. The mice have scattered perfumed flowers on the path. Hare is playing his music, and the blue tits are singing in the chorus. May you both be very happy and get from life the best. Big fat juicy worms aplenty, bouncing babies in the nest. Caterpillar watches from his leaf and wonders, what should I do? Go down and join the procession or watch from here? Should I go to the reception or just have my usual lettuce snack? Oh well, I'll decide by and by. There is, however, one solemn face and glistening eye in all the general cheerfulness. It's Crow, standing to one side and looking sad. He always did have a soft spot in his heart for Blackbird. Indeed, he was once on the point of asking her to marry him, and now... Oh well, for every Blackbird lost there are 100 others, he exclaims at last, and off he goes gloomily into the wood. The wedding lunch is laid out on a long table in the open air. The table is so long that no cloth could be found to cover it. Or rather, there is big enough tablecloth belonging to the Mouse sisters, but they didn't want to use it. It's going to be used, they said, only when we get married. Which means never, because they are so perfectly happy together. It took 5 tablecloths to cover the table, but it looks pretty and jolly too, and the woods ring with laughter and merriness. Just as dusk is falling, along comes Caterpillar, very, very slowly. But he's arrived too late. Everyone has left the table, and there's not even a crumb. The ants have carried it all away. Oak Tree Terrace. Everyone knew it would happen one day. I tell you, said Squirrel, that it's nearly hollow. In fact, it is hollow. It can't stand upright and much longer. That's right, agreed the bumblebees. Do you know how old it is? 900, maybe 1,000 years old. It's the oldest tree in the wood. Poor thing. It will fall sooner or later. They all heaved a sigh and gazed sadly at the great, rugged oak, which no longer bore acorns and was bare of leaves. Then, one stormy night, a creaking sound was heard, and a great crash. The next day, everyone gathers in the glade round the huge, uprooted oak. Its acorns were so tasty, sighs Hedgehog. It was such fun playing hide-and-seek among the leaves and branches, says Blackbird. What a pity. It's no use to anyone now, chorus the 3 Mouse sisters. However, Beaver puts on his glasses and scratching his chin says, Just a minute. Who says it's no use anymore? Let me take a few measurements. Out come pencil and paper and measuring tape. He bustles round the trunk frowning. Then he exclaims, Now if we take away some wood here, erase a wall there, cut a few windows, make some doorways, it'll make a marvelous den. Den? It'll make an entire row of houses. A moment of stunned silence. Then Tortoise murmurs, That may be so, but who's going to do the work? That's easy. The woodpeckers. An agreement was drawn up in no time. at all in exchange for a bag of acorns. Then the woodpeckers start to bore into the wood with their strong beaks, following Beaver's instructions. A window is made here, a door there. In the meantime, Hedgehog, Mole, and Badger are busy building the walls and making the window and door frames. A few days later, the big tree trunk has been converted into a terrace of 5 little houses, which the Mouse sisters sweep, clean, and dust till spotless, and then put up the curtains. The entrances are made, and there is even a balcony for hanging out the washing. Nothing like it has ever been seen in the woods before. Then comes the day for moving in. Shrew goes in to live at number 1, the Hedgehog's at number 2, Black Rat at number 3, and the first thing he does is set up the old grandfather clock his first wife left him. Hamster sets up house at number 4, and Mole is supposed to go into number 5, but I'm not sure that I'll like it in there, he says. What? You won't like it, exclaims Beaver. It's not that. You see, my hobby is digging tunnels. I wake up at night and start digging, and every now and then I stick my head up outside to see where I am. I couldn't dig tunnels in the terrace, could I? I might pop up in Black Rat's bedroom. Oh, that would never do, Beaver agrees. Listen, you can go underground and live in the cellars. You can dig all the tunnels you want there. Now that's a good idea, says Mole, and he sets to work straight away. Before nightfall, he's very tired, but there he is, happy in his new home. The tenants of Oak Tree Terrace peer in the window. It's just as well, they whisper, that he's sleeping in the cellar. Listen to him snoring. He'd have kept us all wide awake. And so, the old oak tree, now stripped of its leaves and acorns, is still a part of the wood. Shooting stars. Black Rat is certainly the greatest adventurer among the woodland folk. He has traveled a lot and seen the world. As a youngster, he went to sea on a merchant ship, in the hold, of course, or rather in the ship's kitchens where all the food was. He never stops talking about it. How on earth did you see the world, asked Bear Cub, if you spent the time shut up in the hold? Aha, my lad, at night, when there was nobody around, I went on the deck and saw the sea, and the sky, and the shooting stars. Shooting stars? What do you mean by shooting stars? Everyone inquires curiously. Black Rat stretches out his paws. What? Don't you know the stars shoot across the sky in summer? Hedgehog turns doubtfully to Old Owl, who, as everyone is aware, knows the skies and the night better than most. I say, Owl, is that true, or is Black Rat pulling our legs? Oh, it's true enough. The stars do shoot across the sky. I've seen them myself. Of course they do, exclaims Black Rat. And tonight's the 10th of August, when there are even more shooting stars. Come along, folks, let's go. Go where? To the big glade where we can see the sky. Ah, it's a wonderful sight. Come on, hurry. Bursting with enthusiasm, they all troop off behind Owl and Black Rat, who keeps talking about Cassiopeia, Andromeda, and using awfully difficult words. The Mouse sisters travel on a cart that Badger pulls. Then comes the others, the frogs, Mole, Grasshopper, the whole crowd, in other words. Everyone is full of energy, although Tortoise complains. Hey, they grumble, you'll leave us behind if you go so quickly. Dormouse scurries on for a bit, but then he feels sleepy. He starts to yawn, walks on with his eyes shut, bumps into a few trees, and as soon as he hears a voice say, "We're there," he lays down in the grass and goes promptly to sleep. Which really is a pity, for over the heads of the woodland dwellers the dome of green branches has given way to an immense stretch of sky, filled with sprinkling stars. And that's the plow, Owl and Black Rat say, and there's Sagittarius, and that one, oh look, a shooting star, someone cries. Far up in the sky they see a streak of darting silver that appears only to vanish from sight. There's another, and another one, look. Whoever sees the most can go home in the cart, proclaims Owl. This leads to a competition, and everyone stares upward. Each time a star darts across the sky, it is greeted with cries of amazement and wonder, and every creature tries to be the first to call out. Zzz. The Dormouse continues to snore. Do you know what we're going to do to the sleepyhead, says Frog? We shall play the wolf trick on him, shall we? They all agree, so they tiptoe around the sleeping Dormouse, and at a signal, start to shout, "The wolf! The wolf!" Dormouse sits up with a frightened start, his eyes wide and his mouth open. Everyone laughs. What a horrid trick, sulks Dormouse, but the others just laugh and turn away to look at the sky again. The hours go by and lots of stars shoot across the sky. Then comes the first chilly shivers. The stars are fading, their light is gone, and it is now very dark. How will we find our way back? Asked the Mouse sisters. Leave it to us, say Frog and Hedgehog. They open a large basket, and out swarm hundreds of fireflies which light up the path. The woodland folk set off home by the light of the fireflies, while Dormouse, who is fast asleep again, happily snores on. And Black Rat and Owl roll up the chart of skies they had brought with them. The swimming pool. Yes, that was a very nasty moment. It was a scorching day. The water in the stream was slipping by so coolly, and one of the mice dived in. But just as he sliced through the air, he suddenly remembered he couldn't swim. Oh goodness, what shall I do now, he said to himself. Too late. Splash! He was in the water, and the current would have swept him away if Hedgehog had not appeared on the scene. Here, hang on to this, he yelled, holding out a flower stalk. Mouse grabbed the stalk and was pulled to dry land, frightened and shuddering with the cold. By sheer luck, a dreadful accident had been avoided. The woodland folk didn't want things like that happening a second time. We're not all like Otter, Beaver, and Frog, who are at home in the water. Something must be done, now that summer's here, if we are to stop folk from drowning. It's quite simple, says Beaver. We'll build a swimming pool. Bringing out pencil and paper, ruler and compass, he begins to do sums. Then he says, right, off to work, start digging here. Here, in this field, but there's no water here. Just start digging. Do you or don't you want a pool? Oh, yes. Oh, right then. To work. They dig 3 holes in the ground, each a different depth and each separated by others by a bank. A little canal carries water from the stream into the holes and turns them into proper pools. Hooray! Cried the woodland folk. Now we've got swimming pools. Be careful, though, warns Beaver. For the moment, we're only going to use the middle one. In you all go. There's no need to be frightened. It's a great day for everyone. Frog quickly builds a diving board, while Blackbird turns his nest into a boat and takes 2 mouse sisters for a sail. The 3rd sister stays on the bank with a lifebelt, just in case. Otter has fun swimming underwater and then capsizing the tin can that Frog is using as a boat. Look out! Here's the fastest leg on skis, shrieks Black Beetle, water skiing on a pod pulled by bumblebees. Get out of the way, I'm gonna dive, yells another frog. What chaos, sighs Black Rat, taking it easy under the beach umbrella. In the meantime, the ants have arrived in their nutshell boat, and Caterpillar, ever kind-hearted, allows himself to be used as a gangway. While Hamster has discovered that Tortoise's tummy makes a very comfortable craft. Beaver has not stopped for a second, and with the help of Hedgehog and his assistant, he is measuring the depths of the pools. Phew! He splutters, spitting water. This one's really deep. It's only for the best swimmers. Oh, isn't the cricket ever going to stop singing? Frog is organizing swimming classes. I was watching you, he says to the mice. You were wearing caps, but you lack style. You swim like mice, that's all. Look, there are different strokes. There's the breaststroke, the backstroke, the butterfly. Each has its own style, you see. But remember, lads, breathing is the important thing in swimming, and being careful. Now they can really begin enjoying the summer.